If you've clicked on this video and you're happy about your life right now, and you aren't complaining about waking up early in the morning, getting closer and closer to attaining your diploma or going to school, I'm thrilled for you and I support you, but you and I both know we wouldn't know the true effects of that decision maybe until 10 to 15 years from now. This video is about the fundamental flaw your parents have instilled in you, but for some context, because I don't want anything to be taken blindly, I do want to speak in the light of growing up to a family where your future is pretty much predicted based on our parents' ideal. And if you stick to the very end, which I highly recommend you do, I do want to expose a couple antidotes to the secret your parents aren't telling you. But most likely, we've grown up to the mindset that it's not important to pursue your first dream in life. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the dream your parents want you to pursue. That's typically the second dream your parents predestined for you growing up, which they make you think is yours, but it's actually theirs. I'm talking about the dream you once told yourself when you were a kid, but somewhere along the lines, we've forgotten about it. The 10-year-old you that had a voice in your head saying you wanted to be somebody. And if that 10-year-old you could look at yourself right now in the mirror, that young kid wouldn't know what he or she is looking back at. Who you once were. Sometimes along the way, when you were maybe 13, 14, we let go of that little person that kept us going. Because that idea that we had, that we felt was so right to us, was considered unrealistic. Maybe you always wanted to be a professional athlete, a movie star, a serial entrepreneur, an artist. But that's too far out there. The probabilities of that is just too big. Let's come back to Earth. Because that's not what's encouraged. What's encouraged is spending 4 or more years to get your degree with a gigantic sense of dispassion on what you're studying for. What's encouraged is getting a piece of paper called a diploma. Because that makes sense. That's the obvious route. To walk out your door and see the obvious way you're supposed to go. Down the road that's already laid for you. The road that takes you to all the destinations that are already known. And it's going to take you to all the places that instinct drove all the people before you. Now, generally speaking, that's a path most people should actually take. There's less room for error, less mistakes. No one's going to judge you because that's normal. The path that wouldn't necessarily give you an amazing life, but it's a proven concept to make sure you're comfortable and well off. And there's definitely a great attraction and appeal to that path. But if you're still listening to this video right now, I'm sure there's something you're holding back on. And you're aware life gives you little slivers of opportunity. Those small moments when you feel it's wrong to be walking someone else's path, even if logically it almost doesn't make any sense to follow your own dreams. But taking that risk is the exact right thing to do. For my own part, I've never listened to what anybody told me to do. I tried the school route, don't get me wrong, got rejected in 14 different schools, and those were all high schools, by the way. Shifted from 3 college courses in the span of 3 years until I finally decided none of that was for me. Fortunately, I had the desire to create something for myself, found a way to make more money than my teachers, and dropped out in just a few months. But that was because I found something that I liked and kept at it. I wanted freedom. And I'll take it you want freedom as well. How liberating that would be. And I can tell you a way to get it, but I don't know if you're willing to do it. But I do know this is a relevant issue. And the impact on this is enormous. So here's the advice and a little secret afterwards. Don't listen to your parents. You shouldn't listen to your parents. Parents are often amazing and most often come from a good place. But some, and I know this because I see this a lot, some of them use their kids as legacies or a byproduct to show you off to their own friends. Because they're insecure about other people's judgment on them and what their friends think about them. And so they use you, almost quite selfishly, to make them feel good about themselves. Call it what you want, but if you look at what's actually happening, it's all that for the expense of your own happiness. It's just typical display of misery loves company. And I care about you more right now because it's your life. But if you don't do what you want to do, you're gonna end up regretting it. which is going to manifest in being mad at your parents for all the time you've wasted, having a bitter, jaded, and wasted life. Because when you're in your 30s or 40s, look, you want some real poison, something that really hurts? Wait till you get to 80 and regret you've never tried. The biggest mistake is seeing kids my age or younger appease their parents in the short term, doing something for them, and then in the long term, having resentment and despising their parents for not having the chance to do their thing anymore. Which results in them blaming their parents, and then it's gonna hurt your relationship with them. I think we know what is right for ourselves, and it comes from a great place. What we don't realize yet is the cost of suppressing your own wants and desires and how it manifests at the end. And here's the biggest secret your parents aren't telling you. If you go the other direction of where they want you to go, and you become really successful, they will be really proud and make pretend they never pushed you in the other direction. That's all I wanted to say. Peace and love.